Welcome to my workshop, guys. This is an introduction to hacking secure Wi-Fi networks. So I'm just gonna go really basic on the basic tools, so you guys can understand in depth about how hackers use these basic tools. Before we start, I just want to tell you guys that this stream it's only for educational purposes. Do not try this on any network that you do not have authorization to. Do it only to networks that you have authorization to, and suppose like your own network or a neighbor's network, provided you have their permission, because it's highly illegal if you do it without their permission. So yeah, so let's start off the stream. When we start off the hack, we have to switch our network interface mode. We usually use managed mode, right? The two different modes are monitor and managed. We usually use managed mode to connect to networks from our phones or from our laptops. Now, the one that we are going to use is monitor mode. Monitor mode is just reconnaissance of networks. Reconnaissance as in just listening to all the networks that are around you. And manage mode, like I said, is just connecting to those networks, right, and using them. In monitor mode, you cannot connect to that network, you can just listen to them. So it's either or. And for this hack, I have used the network adapter which is inbuilt in my system. It's I did not purchase anything outside, I would be using monitor mode or managed mode, right? So for the hack, I completely use monitor mode, and that's the reason I have recorded the hack, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to do it live. Right. Before I actually explain how we crack a network, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the four-way handshake. Okay, it's just a bit of theory. So, what is a four-way handshake, right? Now, now for us, computers, laptops, phones, and all, how we connect to that network. How does a router know that you are the legitimate user? How does it authenticate? That is the process. Most people think that just connecting our station, that is our computer or our phone, to that, just type in the password and that is sent to the router, and that's it. People think that is how you connect to that network. That is partly true. There are four steps in the whole process, and the first step is sending a password, a hash, to that access point. A hash is simply it's nothing but the password converted into an encrypted format, that which it is sent to the access point, right? The station, the user types in the password in text format, it's converted to hash and sent to the access point. Now the access point has this password in the hash format also, does not have it in true text format for obvious reasons. And when both the hashes are correct, then step number one is complete and moves to step number two. Right. So the second step is identification. Right. So the access point sends an identification key to the station. Now this identification key is required by the station to create a special ID. This special ID is created using that identification key that is sent by the access point. And now this special ID is sent back to the access point. Right, this is the final step, in which with this ID that the station provided to the access point, it's going to create a temporary key. It's called a transient key, which it reveals that key to the station, so that the station can actually connect to that network. Now, usually there are only four steps, but then there is an optional fifth step where the station just replies back to the access point saying that thank you, I'm into the network, right? So this is how a handshake process actually works between a station, that is your phone or laptop, and an access point, which is your router, right? That's about it. Now that was the complete theory part. Let's just go now into the crack. There are five important steps, and they're on like the handshake, the authentication, and dictionary-based brute force cracking. Those three are the main steps from these important steps. I'm going to show you exactly how the crack works in detail. I have recorded it because it's not actually I can't actually do the live stream and the crack at the same time. So yeah, again, please read the disclaimer on the description below. Do not do this on unauthorized networks. It's highly illegal. Welcome to the Lazy Script Framework. As you can see, this is how it starts off. Now you can read this, the terms of use. This tool is only for educational purposes and do not try this on any other network without permission. And if you do not have authorization, do not do that. It is highly illegal, as said in the disclaimer. Now I'm going to try this on my own network and under my own responsibility, so I'm going to click in yes. As we've already seen in the previous part of the stream, there are two different modes, managed and monitor mode. Now most managed modes have a default name of WLAN 0, so I'm just going to click enter as that is a default. And now monitor mode, the default is WLAN 0 mon, and we do not actually require the Ethernet connection for this, but it requires the name, so I'm just going to click enter as the default it's 0. Now I do not want to change it. Right, this is the LazyScript framework. It has a lot of tools, unlike not just the Wi-Fi cracking tools. It has tools for spoofing mails. It has tools for auto exploitation of a browser. It has tools regarding SQL map automating, brute force login to check the database integrity of a website, and it has tools to scan for ARP scans, to start and stop a monitor mode, to change your MAC address before hacking. So for now, we are going to focus on the handshake tool, which is provided by the LazyScript framework. So I'm just going to type in 10 and click enter. Now we are moving to new terminal. We do not need this terminal, so I'm just going to minimize that. Now this is the handshake menu. We're going to work as per the numbers listed. So the first thing is scanning the networks nearby. Right, so I'm just going to click on 1 and enter. Great, now I want to scan all the channels. So now it's scanning all the channels under monitor mode, not managed mode. Now I'm going to scan until I find my own network. Great, so I captured my own network, and as you can see, all the other networks are blurred out, and my network, I can find my own network. The one in blue is an open network, as said in the legend, because it's a printer, so of course it has an open network. And I found my own network, and it is color coded as per the number of active clients. I'm going to click in 19, which is the number corresponding to the name of the network. I'm going to click enter. Great, so now I have to enter the name of the handshake file, which I would be needing for the data process for brute forcing. Now this is the deauthentication menu. The deauthentication menu is required to deauthenticate any clients out of a network. There are two scripts which can be run under the LazyScript framework, which is AirPlayNG and MDK3. Now deauthentication happens by selectively deauthenticating some clients or all the clients. Now as per the certain new security definitions, the router would understand if continuously deauthentication packets are sent via the network, so it might stop the process, and therefore deauthentication periodically is done, which is harder, which gives a hard time for the network or for the access point of the router to find out if deauthentication packets are sent or it's just normal traffic. So now I'm going to use AirPlayNG as I have demoed with it, and it's pretty good. So I'm just gonna click in 1 and enter. I'm going to send infinite amount of deauthentications this time. I'm just going to click enter as default 0 value. Now this is the deauthenticating menu. It found a network, a client, and it is sending infinite deauthentication codes to that network, and it just waits to hear a WPA handshake. This handshake is captured when the station is trying to connect back to the network. Now I cannot stay here all day to see if we found a WP handshake. So I'm going to auto check if a handshake is found. I'll be clicking 6 and enter. And I'm going to put up an interval of 5 seconds, and every 5 seconds is going to check if a handshake is captured. Now this is the auto check for handshake window, and suppose a WP handshake is captured, it's going to end up right there, around there, with the SSID. Alright, so finally I found my handshake. It took about 2 minutes for me to find it. It was targeting my own device, and it was sending infinite amount of deauthentication packets. Um, and my phone was trying to reconnect, and I went and physically tried to reconnect back to the network, and I captured the handshake. And this is how it is usually done, and the client wouldn't even know that someone was trying to send deauthentication packets. Now I'm going to move over to the deauthentication menu, and I'm going to check the quality of my handshake. I can check it via Pirate or Copati. Both the scripts are under the lazy script framework. I'm going to go ahead with Copati, so I'm going to click 2 and enter. Great, so my handshake was found. Now I don't need any of these windows, so I'm just going to Control C all of them. Alright, so I can go back, and I can go back to the handshake menu. Right, now I'm quitting. I'm going to capture the handshake. It's going to check again. That's kind of part of the process, and I'm going to clean my handshake, which is step number 5. And yeah, this cleaning part is not exactly done properly, so I'm going to do it, research and do it again. Wait. So now we're done with scanning, done with capturing, we're done with verification and cleaning, not exactly, but almost done. And now we're going to go ahead with brute force. We're going to use aircrack. Now aircrack ng is the tool that we are going to use in order to brute force the password. Now that the cap file is with us, saved on our system, we do not need to connect, or to be within the Wi-Fi presence of that network. So we can go ahead and aircrack. Now aircrack is a traditional simple brute force tool that you just given a set of words, a word list in a text file. It can be any amount of words, and it just tries to crack using all those words. And suppose it goes to the end and does not file, it's just going to skip that word file. And it's going to give up. But this time, for the sake of the stream, I have put in the password of my own network at the end of the file, and we're going to try and see how long it's going to take to crack, to scan all the files, and figure out if it finds the password. Let's go ahead and click in 3 and click enter to aircrack. We're going to use the file that we just captured. And now I'm going to find the name of the file, which is in my root. As you can see, root word lists. So I'm just going to switch my desktop to find out the name of the file exactly. Alright, so we found it. I'm going to switch back and type in the name of the word file. Oh, it was right there on top. I did not see that. My bad. Okay, now it's done. Now this is the fun part. Now it takes care of everything for us. We don't need to do anything. We just have to keep a look on it. And if we did, and if the script does find, it's going to shout in a key found message, and that would tell us that the key is that the Wi-Fi network has been cracked. And yeah. So now let's talk about exactly how to find words or certain passwords from the network, from the internet. So what I did was, there are certain websites which do deal with this every year, or on a monthly basis. Certain databases which are cracked, uh, if those databases do use really weak or medium level passwords, those databases can be cracked. And those certain passwords which are used, or certain passwords which came out of the crack, are compiled into one whole text file, and it is put on the net for every month. So you could use this file in order to check if the same password has been used for any other network. So I'm just going to fast forward the whole air cracking thing, because it's going to take some more time. Alright, so right now I found my password. I put the password at the end of the file just so that you know that 400,000 keys, about 400,000 keys, have been scanned in under 4 minutes, about 4 minutes give or take. So you can say about 100,000 words in a span of 1 minute, which isn't a great speed, But this is the introduction into hacking or cracking WPA networks, I have chosen the most basic tool that hackers use to crack a network. Right, so there you go. That was the crack. We completed it. So if you guys have any queries regarding this, that's my mail ID right there, Mohit. And if you guys have any queries on a general basis regarding ethical hacking, you could mail Pranav this mail. He is our ethical hacking director, so I'm sure he'll be glad to help you guys out on anything. So so that's it, I guess. See you guys in the next one.